within the institution. Okay, so today I'm happy to share with you how Qt is actually evolving in our environment, as well. I'll just elaborate a little bit about how we engage the industry. Okay, how we bring in industry projects into our academic environment and letting students have an opportunity to work on real-life industrial projects. Okay, let them expose to the rigorous demands of the industry, and as well as show you some of the projects that we have done before, give you an idea of the kind of work that we do. Right? So a little bit introduction about ourselves. This is Nanyang Polytechnic. We occupy about 30.5 hectares of land. I'm not too sure whether it's big or small over here, but in Singapore it's actually relatively big. We're only occupying a small dot on the map. Okay, we have about 1,300, close to 1,400 staff. We have about 16,000 students with us. Okay, so there's a total of 7 schools in Nanyang Polytechnic. Personally, I come from the School of Information Technology. Okay, so besides IT, the other largest, we are one of the largest schools in the whole NYP. The other biggest school is actually School of Engineering. So we have the School of Business Management, Chemical and Health Sciences. We do design as well, product design, and a little bit of interactive and digital media. And of course, we train nurses, health sciences. Okay, so this is where I come from. I'm from the IT school. And within the IT school, we actually have 6 courses. Okay, we have Diploma in Information Technology, which is our flagship so-called product. And we have a couple of hybrid courses. We do Engineering Informatics, Business Informatics. Okay, Business Enterprise IT is mainly teaching students on all the enterprise systems like SAP and the main ERP systems. Then we have 2 new courses on Financial Informatics, as well as we train information security professionals. Okay, so these are the 6 courses that we have in the School of IT. So within the School of IT, earlier on we heard that we have about 16,000 in the whole NYP. Okay, within the School of IT, we have about 2,100 students. So every year we have a cohort of about 700 new students joining us. Okay, and they are actually divided into various diploma courses. So we train students who are going out to the industry as well as further education. Okay, just to give you a snapshot of how we actually organize our courses. This is one of the diploma, which is the main diploma, the diploma in information technology. So what students typically go through is that there's 3 years of study. Okay, in the first year and second year, they will actually attend some foundation and core modules where we teach them principles of programming, data structures, or the various stuff I believe all of us have gone through. Then in the second year, we teach them on advanced skill sets, advanced database systems, okay, various of. Then in the third year, students have a choice to choose specialization tracks. Okay, so one of the tracks, we have 4 tracks, and one of them is actually the Internet and Mobile Computing track, where we actually introduce all the development on mobile technologies on all various platforms into our students. Okay, we also believe that the students learn programming by having real-life hands-on practical experience. So we emphasize a lot of projects. In the first 2 years, it's mainly academic projects. This is what they have to do as one module, a semestral projects, on top of their other academic modules that they have to take. Okay, so in the third year, they have to undertake these final year projects for a period of 12 weeks. This is the part where we actually bring in industry into our academic environment. Okay, so all our project specifications actually are from projects from the industry. Okay, you can view that. We also function something like we have a business unit called the Center for IT Innovation, which I'm going to elaborate in a while. And we actually function like a software house. So we take in projects through that channel. Okay, we actually embed some of these, we actually pass on some of these project ideas to our students. Okay, we have full-time development staff as well. Students get attached to our teams, okay, junior programmers of testers. Okay, so together they actually come up with products for the industry. Okay. I think the whole idea of doing that is basically to expose, like I mentioned earlier on, to expose students to the rigorous demands of the industry. Okay. This is the so-called business unit that I was talking about. It's actually called the Center for IT Innovation. It's where we actually function like a software house. We established this platform for basically staff and students to work on industrial projects. Okay, as staff, we also need to be constantly in touch with the latest technologies, okay, like Qt. And we want to pass on practical experience to our students, not only experience on theory and all that, but as we do industrial projects, okay, products that's going to be used out there in the industry. There's a lot of things that we can learn from there. and we want to pass on this knowledge to our students, and that's why we actually structured this entity. Okay, so within the Center of IT Innovation, there's many reasons why we are doing this. We want to stay abreast of the technology advances. Okay, we want to provide a service to the industry as well as be an incubation zone for some creative ideas to be generated. Okay, so within the Center for IT Innovation, we do a lot of applied research. We do patents as well. Okay, currently, I think we have filed about close to 26 patents. Out of the 26 patents, we have about 15 patents has been granted. So patent actually take a long years, about 4 years kind of thing. Some of these patents have actually turned into commercial products. I think 1 or 2 is actually available on the OV store, which I'm going to share in a while. This is actually the range of industrial collaborations that we have. Okay, so-called the partners or customers that have actually given us their project. It may not be some of them may be familiar to you. Majority of them are actually organizations in Singapore, as well as some of them are multinational corporations. So we work with HP, we work with some logistics sector. PSA is actually the world's largest transshipment hub. They are actually a port. We work with defense industry in Singapore. Okay, we develop mobile applications for the defense as well. We do healthcare projects. Over this area is where all our hospitals and all our polyclinics are. And we work with banks as well. Okay, we develop projects for the banks. And even some of these are basically small to medium enterprises. Okay, so this is where we actually bring in the projects so that our students actually work on it. Okay, so earlier on in last year, somewhere in 2009, we find that there's actually a lot of requests on mobile projects coming to us. Okay, we feel that there's a need to step up, to ramp up our efforts on mobile development. So we actually signed a memorandum of understanding with Nokia Singapore, and we call it the Mobile Innosphere Center. And what this center will focus is to develop mobile applications, okay, for the industry, as well as for the direct consumers through OV store, through the latest technologies, and we do technology transfer as well. Okay. So just to give you an idea of the kind of work we do, these are some of the projects. Some of these projects are done in Symbian. Okay, because currently, from where I come from, the majority of the smartphones out there are still Symbian devices. Till a time where the whole the industry is using Qt devices, we will see that a lot of our development platform will actually move over to Qt. Okay, so this is one of the projects that we have done. This is for a defense organization. Okay, so from where I come, okay, if you are they're actually very particular about security. You know, today mobile phones, the camera on the mobile phone is actually a basic feature of the phone. Actually, back in Singapore, it is a challenge trying to get a phone that doesn't have a camera. Okay, but at the same time, it's actually pose some kind of so-called security vulnerabilities. Okay, especially if you are visiting an area which is restricted. So what they have come to us is that they wanted a solution that still allows people to bring in mobile phones with cameras, but restrict the use of it. So we have developed a web solution, okay, coupled with a Symbian agent on the phone that basically allows administrators to remotely disable the camera on the phone itself. We can even restrict the profile change such that if you all go into a meeting, all the phones will be silent. There's no way you can turn it on to general. There's no way you can actually bring up the volume. Okay? If this is going to be a device that's going to be used by employees of the organization, there's some sensitive data inside there. There's a way for administrators to make use of the web portal to do a remote backup of the data via 3G. It automatically backups the data, as well as you can wipe out the data using some unrecoverable algorithms after that. Okay? If you want to recover your device, for example, if it's lost, you can actually track a device, the last known location. Okay? If it's under a direct satellite, then you probably will know what is the precise location. And if someone take out the SIM card and put in a new SIM card, we will know the number of the new SIM card that was being put in as well. So you can actually try to call them and perhaps try to recover your phone. Okay? So this is one of the projects they've done for security. Another project they've done for the defense industry, they actually have a scenario, a use case. The use case is that they actually have a group of security personnel that's actually patrolling a particular place. If they see a suspicious parcel or person, they want to snap a picture of it. They want to synchronize this image to all their police officers, for example. And what we have built for them is to make use of ad hoc Wi-Fi. That means for device-to-device communication using the Wi-Fi radio for a much higher speed and a wider range without the use of any infrastructure. Of course, we put in things like AES encryption such that the information is secured. So if let's say they're patrolling a particular shopping center now, the moment they take a picture, this picture is available to all the officers nearby, okay, without going through any public infrastructure. PGP is probably something you already know. This is actually an encryption, decryption kind of cryptography kind of protocol. That's pretty standard on the desktop environment. So we kick off a project also for the defense industry. What we did is we actually ported the whole PGP library onto the Symbian platform so that we can actually make use of this protocol for encrypting information on the mobile phones. So let's say you're doing development that requires you to store maybe credit card numbers, and you want to use a more protected form of encryption algorithm, you can actually make use of PGP with this library. Okay, yeah, this is something that we've done for more for the healthcare industry. It's actually called the Alive Heart Monitor System, where we actually, this particular organization, they brought in a device. It's a Alive Heart Monitor. It's battery operated, and you can actually put on the wires to measure the vital signs of heart patients. Okay, and what we have done is a mobile solution that talks to the Alive Heart Monitor through Bluetooth. And at the same time, we push out the vital signs information onto the internet. Okay? And with this solution, doctors and nurses are actually able to remotely know the condition of heart patients. And we also put in some back-end system such that we can detect any anomalies in the ECG data, and we can actually try to predict whether the patient is going to have a heart attack or not. So besides doing enterprise applications, we have also done applications targeted at direct consumers. Okay, we have actually, through the Mobile Innosphere Center, which actually set up our own OV store presence. We have published some of our applications on the OV store, and these are all done by students. And the last time I checked, last week was, today collectively we have a total downloads of close to about 750,000 downloads for all our applications. So I don't know whether this is good or bad, you can tell me. Yeah. So yeah, some of these, there are various genres. Okay, so through their final year projects, okay, the students actually come up with some of these ideas. They develop games, they develop utilities, productivity applications, lifestyle application that allows you to have a one-touch access to probably dial a cab in Singapore, as well as to call up, do some food delivery. Okay, if you're hungry, for example, you want to call for food. Yeah, that's also one of the applications. These are more localized applications. Okay, moving on to Qt. We have started to develop capability in Qt, I think since 2008, and we see a lot of requests coming from the industry recently as well. Okay, developers or telcos operators out there, they want to start developing applications for Qt. Okay, we know that actually the adoption of devices that support Qt natively is going to be pretty ramp up later on. So these companies actually comes to us to actually seek for courses. Okay, so we have also started to develop our courses and deliver training in this area. Just one of besides doing training for our students, we also do training for the industry, okay, and also universities in around the region. We just did one training for Malaysia, Lim Kok Ming University, so to kickstart their development in not only Qt but actually S60 web runtime as well. So we did a 2 or 3 day courses for them. We also do training for in other areas. Back in 2009, we actually co-organized a From Nokia Qt Challenge competition, okay, where we have students from all the various institutions coming to us to sign up for this. This is actually coordinated by Nokia, this for applications. And part of the challenge is that we will conduct some training to kickstart their development in Qt. And we also hosted the training for them. It was, I think, 2 days. And besides that, there are also requests coming from, we see more and more requests coming from around the region. This is one training that we did for Indonesia as well. I think they are mainly comprising of operators. They wanted to start developing applications, their own applications using Qt. Yeah. So these are some of the professional development courses that we have done. So just now earlier on, I was talking about the Center for IT Innovation, where we actually it's like a software house we develop applications for industry. So currently, we are also moving all our development platform over to Qt. And these are some of the projects that we have recently completed. I think Sketchbook is already up on the OV store. You can download this. It's just a client that allows you to express yourself using drawings. Okay, there were days that people like to blog and post their status and all that. So we also feel that people may want to express themselves through drawing. So we have an application that allows you to draw and immediately you actually post it up to Tumblr for you. Okay. So you can actually register your friend's account as well. You can view what kind of postings that you have done. Not only drawings, you can post images, of course, your quotes and text and photos and other things. These are some of the work that was done by students and stuff. Something about green. We developed an application. This is actually using Qt on Mimo. It's for the N900, also on the OV store currently, where we want to raise the awareness about being environmental friendly. So we put up something like an application that allows people to make use of resources that you have in a house to turn them into useful products. There are some quizzes, there are some so-called calculator kind of applications that allows you to measure the kind of utilities how much utilities that you actually use. Okay, so this is EcoGo. There's some games that we have put in there as well. We also have done, our students also done application like this, where they feel that a different way of organizing the photos would be through tagging. So they want to have various tags attached to various photos, and there's many ways that you can search your gallery for it will come up in many forms. So this is actually one of all of these are students' projects. And I think currently this team is really building on the integration to Facebook as well, posting some of these images directly on that. Something about more localized. The students also have built this restaurant Locator. There are a certain group of people in Singapore that like vegetarian food. So what they have come up with is actually a mobile application, and they actually list down all the various restaurants in Singapore. Even allow them to actually share recipes. So for those who like to cook, they can actually share recipes on for certain vegetarian dishes. They can also post comments about a certain restaurant, whether it's good or not so good and all that. This is one of the current projects as well. It's actually we call it, the student call it Chat Cutely, where it actually allows people who know different languages to communicate with each other through instant messaging, for example. Okay, currently we are hooking on to the ICQ protocol. Of course, we're going to move on to other major protocols as well. So one example is that, let's say I have a friend in Finland who only knows Finnish, or maybe English, and I have myself if I only know Chinese, so we can still communicate. So through instant messaging on my side, I will just key in the text in Chinese. It appears to them as Finnish. And they can reply in Finnish, it appears to me as Chinese. So we have tested, there isn't any delay. I think it's progressing fine. So we hope to make this a commercial product later on. So that's all I have to share. Any thoughts or comments or any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.